In this video, what I'm going to do is take you through how to create your Photo Techniques final layout. So you should have at this point a contact sheet with all 15 of your photos, 3 from each category. And what we're going to do is we're going to take, you're going to choose one of those photos from each category and make a final layout. So you'll have 5 pictures. So one of the easiest ways to get this started is, since you already have a contact sheet, we're just actually going to add a page. So I'm just going to add a page, and it's going to create the same backdrop, same size, everything that you need from your contact sheet, which is what we're looking for here when creating your final layout. Now, you do not need to keep the same color. I could go in here and change the color of the second page here if I want to go with a different color. And again, I'll look at a gradient. So if I want to change the gradient, something a little bit different, that's totally up to you. But the size will be the same as what you created for the contact sheet. All right. So let's say I go with something like this. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and now add some information. All right. So I'm going to click on my text tool, and I'm going to go ahead and add a heading. And I'm just going to call this my photography techniques assignments. And this font, we're gonna have to change the size of the font. It's way too big. All right, so we're gonna change that down to, again, this is something that you're just gonna play around with. All right, so we'll go somewhere around there. And again, the color as well. Play around with the color, the style of font. It does not need to be this default font here, Canvas Sans. I could go in here, let's say I want something a little bit more scriptive. I can do a handwriting font here and find something that I think will work well. Again, it's up to you what kind of font. There's so many different fonts in here to play around with. All right, so that's some of the fun, is finding a good font that's a nice layout for you. All right, so let's go with something like this. And color as well. Play around with your color. It doesn't need to be black. You could change it to whatever color you want within Canva. I can also give my font an effect if I want to select effect. If I want to do some kind of drop shadow or outline, I could change the thickness of that outline. I could change the color of the outline. All right, so there's so many things that you can do. Have fun, play around with that try to make your layout interesting. Okay. You also need to have your name in here. Okay, so make sure we're going to add some text again. And I'm going to put some text in here. All right, and put that in. Again, you can change the font color for that, the size, all those different things. If I wanted to go back through again and change it to a font, different font, feel free to do that. All right, but I'm just going to put that up here for now. All right. All right, so going through, I'm finding some things that I want to work with here. Boom, change the font. All right, and I'm actually going to change this font. It's hard to read that one, so I'm going to change that one a little bit as well. Maybe I'm going to go with something like that. I can then put in some elements. So I'm going to go to elements here. And you can search up like cameras. Okay, and I can find some different clip art of cameras that you can use. There's all sorts of stuff in here that you can drop in there. All right, so if I wanted to go, here's a camera. I'm just going to take that one, make it a little smaller. And you drop that in. Let's say I wanted to maybe put a roll of film in there. Again, and this is your design. So let's go with just something basic here. let's take this first one here, it's fine. And we'll take that, maybe stick that in a layout, make it a little smaller. All right, now, the main portion of this project here is deciding what is your best photo from each category. So I'm gonna go to my uploads, and you should have all your pictures uploaded at this point in time. But let's say I'm gonna go, I wanna pick one. All right, so let's say this one right here, for my rule of thirds, the one with the ladybug, I'm gonna select that, drop that in, change the size of that, and this is gonna be my rule of thirds. Now, do you see when I drop it in, it's just a plain photo that's dropped in here. I wanna, again, work on my layout a little bit. I wanna give it a border, almost look like it has a little frame. So I come up here, when I have the photo selected, I get some different options here. I'm gonna do a border style with it, and I can select the border style. I can give it a thicker border, all right? All right, so now it looks like it's framed out. I could change, if I wanted to change the color of that border as well, all right? I could do all those things. So again, it looks a little nicer than just a photo that's dropped in, okay? Some other things is I do need to have a label on here. So I need to go through here, and let's say this is my rule of thirds shot. So I gotta put rule of thirds, okay? And that's the picture that I'm working with here. I'm just gonna make this a little smaller. Something like this. I'm gonna drag that and drop it on my layout. If I need to, again, adjust anything, I can do that. Okay, now the other thing, again, color. If I wanted to play around with the color here with my font, do that, all right? You guys make whatever adjustments you want. Now, another requirement, though, is that you do need to have a short description of what's in the picture, all right? So, I could say, this picture is an example of rule of thirds as the ladybug is on a third line, on the right third line, I'll say, is on the right third line. Okay, so I have something like that. I'm going to change the size of this. So I'll decrease the size. All right, move this in a position over here. All right, and then that one's done. Then I'd go through, I say, all right, I need to go back into my uploads, and I need to upload my next picture. So let's say the next one I was going to do is a texture shot, and I wanted to go with this, maybe this one here with the stonework as my best texture shot. I can even put this one on the opposite side so it's not all aligned here. It's up to you how you guys want to do your layout. If you want to align them all in a row on the left-hand side, or want to go, I'll alternate them. Again, that's up to you and your layout. I want you to be creative with it, all right? Maybe put another border around this one. All right, and again, I'd write in here, put another label. And what you could do, this is another trick for you. I can copy this so that the font's the same size. I can duplicate the font from my first example, bring it over here, and then I just call this, just change it to a texture here. Same thing with the description. I'm just going to move this up a little bit, move this, then move this one up a little bit. All right, and I can click on this. I can duplicate that one. And again, just change the description. This picture is an example of texture. As you can feel the stone, feel the stonework in the picture. I don't know, something like that. Okay. Again, make sure you have completed sentences, work on your grammar, things like that. But it should just be something like this. And if I wanted to make these pictures a little bit larger, all right, you can do that. Once you have your final layout, you kind of get a sense, once you have everything in here, You can make things a little bit larger, but make sure you can fit everything initially. All right, until you have a complete layout. All right, that's really it for the final layout. If you have any questions, reach out to a classmate or ask the instructor. Good luck with everything.